Welcome back to Fire Dragon, and we are here today with another Minecraft tutorial, and this one is going to be over a gold farm, otherwise known as a Pigman farm, if you would prefer that. But this is gonna start off pretty simple. I haven't actually 100% completed it yet, just because I want to show you guys the basic shell of how to make it, and then I'll go into the details of how to arrange your collection area. And so down here you'll have a nice little walkway, however you want, whatever you want to get to your area. This is where they fall. Now, one thing to note is that they need to fall at the very least 24 blocks. I have it 24 and a half just because I have half slabs on top of hoppers. You could just remove the half slabs if you want to and just have open hoppers, but it looks nicer with half slabs. But anyway, that's so that way they die on impact. If you want this to be an XP farm, first I would suggest looking away from Pigman farms. But if you want it to be an XP farm, it needs to be 23 blocks, and then it's basically the same fall height as a zombie, and the same things will happen. But anyway, so for the rest of this, I have these two paths that go around to each side, leading to chests. This is the simple version, or you can have a sorting area version where it sorts individual things, and I'll show you how to do that later towards the end of the video. But just let's have a look under here, just to show you the hopper configuration. We have the one in the middle leading to those three, and then we have these five leading in this direction, just to show you in case you're going to copy this design exactly, or something similar at the least. But anyway, I have this glowstone here. The three above these chests are necessary, so that way you can open the chests, and also so items can flow into the chests, unless it's been fixed. I really don't remember. It used to be that items can't flow into a chest you can't even open, but that part might be fixed. So anyway, the glowstone's there so you can open the chest. And then so I just had it loop all the way around, so it looked nice. The back end's just flat for now, at the least. But yeah, that's a start to how you build this. So as we go up to the top, as I said before, 24 blocks high at the least, we're going to have an area for them to all fall into, and I'll show you an example of it completed soon, and then I'll actually finish this out and then show you how it's going to look here. But anyway, so how you arrange your portals is you have little square or cubes. You have a 3 by, or well, technically it's a 5 by 5 by 5 by 5 portal, but only 3 of the obsidian is exposed. So whenever you light the portal area will be a 3 by 3. I'm not going to keep that way because that's annoying. But so yes, you have one center one, and then you'll go out 3 on each side. So basically, if you were to count across one row, it would be 7. So 3, 5, 6. Oh wait, I can't count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then of course 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the same thing. And then you'll expand that out. You'll do that, and then you'll also have the portals in between here. Leading, so you'll also have a portal cube here and here and here, and you'll continue that out, and I'll show you it completed in just a minute. But what we have here is a collection area. So under these, there's going to be, if I can get these, there's going to be trap doors. There's the trapdoors, jeez. There's going to be trap doors here, so that way the pigmen don't realize that there's an empty block here, and they'll just walk off because they're thinking they're walking onto a block. So they'll have a much higher chance of falling. And they'll fall into the water stream, and they'll be pushed across, and then they'll fall down. And some of you may be inclined to do this and have the next water stream go like that, but that is bad. That's actually what I did my first time as well. But what they tend to do whenever you do that is they fall, and they're all constantly trying to go against the stream, but the stream's too strong for them. And whenever they fall down to here, they have that little jumping room, so they can jump up and barely catch onto the block and do that, and they'll do that infinitely, and they won't go anywhere. If you do this, they don't have that room to jump, and they'll just be pushed back like regular. And so that's how this is going to work. Let me go ahead and go show you a finished example of how this is going to look. Okay, so we're here in a real life example of this working. We have our portal system, and yes, it does go 4 high because that increases efficiency majorly. One layer of portal really doesn't work that well. You're gonna have to have multiple portals, and you can see all the trapdoors are here. But anyway, the main point is you have this water here, and you have it 3 high area, and the water's on the third row, just so that way they're not jumping back up and getting caught on the edge of the portal frames there. But yes, you have them walking, you have them swimming, whatever you call it, being pushed down and down into here. And we have this extra block here, so that way water can push out and not like fall into here, because I mean, if we had it starting on this row, it would go over, and that would just be bad. But anyway, so this is how it's going to end up looking at the end. It'll look slightly different just because of the way I built it, and the other one's going to be a slightly more efficient. But yeah, this is the basic idea of how it's going to look. And it actually might end up looking the same. I'm not sure. But either way, it's going to end up into here, and same idea there. And they fall, go in here, and they fall 25 or so blocks. I'm not sure how far they fall there, but they fall a relatively good height. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to show here, and we'll get back to actually building the thing. Alright, so we have a few options here. What I have done here wasn't really intentional. I just, like I said, this is going to be slightly different because of the weirdness of how I started. I started by going up 24 blocks and then built the portal system. On the previous one that I did, which is the correct way to do it, I started with the portal stuff and then went down with the water and then had the drop go down 24. Which, I mean, you could do it either way, just as long as you know what you're starting with. And I did not. So this is basically my test. So now that we are here, though, I have noticed something that we could do. We have this middle place here. And what you could do is, instead of having this middle place, take it and duplicate it right here, have the middle of it be right on this block, and then have a second one over here and have the middle be on this block, and then have your portal system go a second way out there and a second way out there. So basically I think it would go 3 or 4 more out on each side. And so basically you would just be increasing the efficiency of your farm by staying in the very middle, probably near it. If you're down here, you're out of the chunk range of it, so it won't work as efficiently. But anyway, that's just a thought for you to do. I'm not going to do it because that's too much work for me, and pointless for me. But this is for blah, 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 if I can talk. First, this is what I wanted to show you. The portal's all lit up. I didn't do a second layer like I said I wasn't going to, at least for now. And also these. So I'm going to have to move the whole thing up by 3 blocks, I believe, in order to have stream, because those are going to push into here, and then those streams are going to go down and into this area. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and come back whenever that's done. Alright, I don't know if you guys already have your own way of doing this or not, but I figured if you don't, I would show you a pretty cool way, or not pretty cool way, a pretty fast way and simple way of lighting your portals. And since you're in creative mode, I am in creative mode. If you are not, this possibly doesn't apply to you. Then again, it might as well. But especially since you're in creative, as soon as you touch a portal, you get teleported immediately. So what I like to do is, instead of having to try to figure out how to dodge all the portals, I just light all of the surrounding portals on the outsides here, and just for sake of time. And then I stand over here, light 2 portals, then light that portal, light them both, light portals, light this, light portals, light portals, and light portal. And that whole row is done now. And then you can continue on and do it this way. So we'll come back whenever every single portal is lit, and you'll see this thing working. Alright, so we have finished the majority of this, actually pretty much all of it. But as you can see up here, this is something you probably want to note yourself. Glowstone is likely a good idea to put on the top so that we don't have a ton of mobs spawning up here. Um, of course, I would choose the one area. Anyway, and also it helps mobs from spawning inside of here because they can still spawn on the obsidian blocks. I believe, I might be wrong about that, but just as a safety measure. And you can see the pigman falling already. But yeah, this is the finished product. It actually looks a lot more similar to the one I showed you before than I thought it would. But it's basically the same, except this doesn't go off in a different direction. So yeah, you can see Pigman falling pretty fast, pretty frequently. As soon as it gets going, it really gets going. But yeah, so if you haven't noticed from this, or if I even showed you from this, there are areas where you have to send the water back further because water flows 8 blocks and you don't want it going over the edge. So just note that it's going to be on this part. There's going to be 4 blocks out this way on either side. And there's going to be 4 blocks here as well, I think. Yeah, 4 blocks, which leaves 4 blocks on the other side to be hidden. So yeah, I also have all these torches to help light up the area, just for decoration wise, pretty much. And also just remember 24 blocks. This is the area where they start falling at, and that's 24 blocks down minimum. And it ends up being 24 and a half because I used half slabs here. But yeah, I also put these bars here, basically bars, half slabs here, in order to protect any pigmen from falling onto the glowstone instead. If yours happens to be exactly 24 blocks, and there's an area they can land on, you don't want that to happen. As well as before, you'll notice I added a second ring around. What was happening before is there was a 2.5 wide gap where they would eventually curve into and land on the ring here, and so we don't want that. And I just did that by doing this and having a 1.5 block instead there. And you can see the pigment falling again. Of course, if you want increased efficiency, 2 things you'll want to add multiple more layers. 4 is actually a pretty good amount of layers. You get a lot of golden nuggets, but you probably do have to AFK for a while. But another thing is you'll want to stand in the very middle of your farm, depending on how many layers you have. So if you have like 8 layers, you're going to want to stand in the middle, where at like the 4th layer or something. Whereas, oh gosh, what's happening? Okay, thanks. Anyway, whereas in this version of it, you'll only have to stand about right here. And what I usually do is just take out a block there and stand here, and it'll generate all of it. So as long as everything, all of the nether portals are in your generated chunks, you're perfectly fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and build and show you how to build, that is, the sorting system if you would prefer to use the sorting system. So if you were in any way confused about what I just said there are these chests over here that I was explaining about before, and they lead into hoppers down here where they go into the chests. Now what you can do is configure all of your hoppers to look straight down, go into other hoppers, and go to a sorting area to sort out individual item types. I'm not going to do it there. I'm just going to show you off to the side, because zombie pigmen drop 4, I believe, different items. They can drop extra items, which are gold swords, basically, which you can't technically sort out, but if you like filter it to sort out everything else, then what you'll have left over are golden swords. But anyway, they also drop golden nuggets, golden ingots, and rotten flesh. So if you want it to be automatically sorted, you'll have them fall into hoppers. And for this example, we'll just do this. We'll have the hopper there, hopper leading into there, into there, into there, into there, into there, into there, and into there. So those will be the 9 hoppers that they fall right onto, and I have half slabs above them on that one. But anyhow, the point is, go ahead and put down 3 comparators, or well, 3, yeah, sorry, 3 comparators, and lead the hoppers into them, and then go below and send or well, put chests first. Put a chest there, put a different chest there, and put another different chest there. And then you'll go behind this, or under this, I guess you'd say, and put hoppers leading into each of those chests. And each of these chests are going to be different filters. And a way to expand the storage, of course, is to add more chests here and hoppers below that lead into more chests, because you can just put chest and a hopper like that, and that one above will lead down, and below would go starting fill up the bottom one up to the top. And of course you can do that all the way across, so basically compact giant storage. But anyhow, on to actually building this. First you're going to have 2 redstone going out, and then you're going to have redstone going down, and then you want blocks there just to do stuff. Hold on. Have your redstone going down, and then that redstone will activate the block, which will activate these repeaters. Whoops. Sorry, it's kind of hard to place on the side, and actually I'll just remove that block and do that. Anyway, also have those repeaters leading into blocks, so that way they power those blocks, which will power these redstone torches. So what this does is lock the hopper so it can't send anything through unless it's already been filtered out, and I don't want to go that way. So it'll detect from these, it'll detect whatever you have in here, which I'll go over in a second. And actually these won't be directly right here. They'll be these facing out, and then these will be also gone. Okay, sorry about that. I was just having a logic error there, but I was slightly correct. What you do is place chests here, with those repeaters facing, hoppers facing that way, and these ones are still facing into the comparators, and there are, in fact, those 3 there, torches there. Don't make these into double chests. I'm not actually certain if you can't, or if it's just that's the way people have done it in tutorials that I've seen in the past or something. But what you can do is turn these into double chests here, and then point those into there, and you can place down your other chests down below. Like I was saying originally, wait, how did those get turned around? That's weird. Anyway, you can do this, and then it'll fill from the bottom up. But yes, anyhow, that, wait, what was I? Oh, sorry. Okay, so first you're gonna have to go, and depending on what filters you want, which I'm going to assume you want golden nugget, rotten flesh, golden ingot, rotten flesh. It doesn't matter what order, but rotten flesh, and then, oh, I see. One issue that I do have is this probably needs to go down one more, but what this needs to do is go across. So you'll have this. It doesn't really matter. This works, but as long as you have this going across, then and down, this is basically your non-filterable items, or non-stackable items. But anyhow, so that's the only addition there. But whatever, we're going to go to your materials. No, it's under, oh yeah, it is under materials. So grab a stack of golden nuggets, and for the first one we'll do golden nuggets. Of course you can do it in any order you want to, but we'll put golden nuggets, put 4 there, and then put the rest there, and they'll filter out. And it should be 41 that it eventually gets down to. You'll see it should even out at 41. Yes. For whatever reason, it used to be 18, but some update caused it to be 41. But that's the same with all items. We'll do golden ingot next, because that's also what they drop. And then, whoops, and then rotten flesh would be where? Food? Yeah, food. I don't know why that's under food. It's not actually food, but whatever. yeah, I can do that for Rotten Flesh. And then basically, you'll just take another chest here and do your filtering system here, basically. It's not really a filtering system, but I mean, it is. It just it filters out anything else that the zombie pigman will drop, other like non-stackable wise, or whatever you don't have being set to filter. So if they happen to pick up a piece of steak or something, it's not going to be filtered. It'll just be sent into this row of chests. So yeah, that was probably completely dumb explanation, but that's the way I'm explaining it, and this is actually how you're supposed to do it. I'm just gonna pan around so that way, in case I happen to explain weird, then you guys can see what's happening. But anyway, that is all there is to this tutorial. We have our gigantic mansion basically up here. I don't even know why this is like that. That shouldn't be like that. I mean, it doesn't matter. It just looks weird. Although the real issue is that it's not like that. Sorry, I'm just incredibly annoyed by things that aren't the same. That's really annoying. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you remember to put your glowstone up here and your um, uh, filtering system down here if you're going to. Anyway. Alright, so I have one more addition to this thing. If you want to do, this is completely optional and not necessary in the slightest, but if you have two gold farms that you want to activate at relatively the same time, what you can do is have a station at the top of this. Let me go up there to show you. I probably should have started up there. But anyway, you have a station up top of this in the middle, as middle of you, as middle as you can get. If you want, you can measure what the middle is. That's clearly not the middle, but this is good enough to actually load all of this chunks. But anyway, so if you have two gold farms that you want to load at the same time, basically at the same time, what you need to do is build this little contraption that I created. It is a minecart system to each of them on a timer. So you'll have two hoppers facing into each other and comparators, and basically this is what a hopper clock is. You'll have that facing into that, and then that up there, and have redstone torches on both sides like that, and then same on this side and there. And then you'll take some sticky pistons, make sure they are sticky pistons and not regular pistons, and what you'll do is take a block of redstone and just place it right there for now. And so that's basically the premise of this clock. So what you want to do is add in other items and it'll start flowing out. And basically whenever all of these items go into this hopper, then the redstone block will shift back over and cause the redstone torches to change their output, or if you want to take the output from the redstone block, it doesn't matter. So all of them will shift over into here, and then you'll see in just a second it will shift back over. And there we go. So then now they're going to start flowing back into here and do that. And so what I use this for is to have a very elongated timer. You can add more stacks to elongate the timer, up to 5 stacks. I'm sure there's other ways to elongate it, like add more hoppers somehow, but I'm not too worried about that because this is a long enough timer for me. But after you've done that, you can just go ahead and let me destroy these all at once. So you'll send it out this way from the redstone torch. You'll send it off perpendicular to it rather than in parallel with it, like I was just doing. And you'll have a block right here to stop the minecart, and just grab your powered rail and regular rails, place a powered rail there, and rail, and then add 2 powered rails is what I usually do, and then you'll also need a block there if you want to power it, which these should always be powered, but this one should not. It'll only be powered whenever this redstone torch turns on, which is very rarely. Especially what I have on my farm, my actual farm, is 3 stacks total. and that is a pretty long timer. So anyway, you'll do that, and then every, I would say four, like you have three tracks in between, um, put a powered rail, and wow, what a coincidence, it ends up being directly right there. But yeah, so, and then of course those are always powered, but you'll grab your minecart, set it right here, and you'll sit in it. And this only works if you sit in it um, semi way. The way I have it in my actual farm is it goes uphill, and I have these three checks in between and the powered rail, and it doesn't reach the powered rail because it's going up. And whenever the player's in it, though, it gives it a tad bit more momentum, and so it does get to it whenever you are actually in the minecart. So it'll continue on if you're in it, and it'll just basically stay here. It'll roll back down into here if you are not inside of it. And that is only if you have it going up a hill first. So yeah, that's basically all there is to this. You'll just sit in the minecart, and you'll have after a certain amount of time, it will send you off, and then you'll have another one of the hopper clocks here with the same timer as that one, or even a longer timer if you want it to be, whatever timer you want it to be. And it will send you back over here after a long time on there. So you'll be switching between the two and staying and loading the chunks for a long time on both of them. And so basically what I would consider it to be is activating them both at the same time. So yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, you can do that. If you don't want to, just don't, and just build this. But that's all there is for this tutorial. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Fire Dragon.